שבשמיים שייתן בלבך אבא וירא ושיאי יראת השם.
I distinctly remember Avram giving a shmooze once, and he said something to the effect of, if you think that a yeshiva is just there to create people who know how to learn, who come to Talmidei Chachamim, then you're totally wrong. The job of the yeshiva is to create someone who's a complete Adam HaShalem, who's a Yarei Shemayim, who's a complete person, Ben Torah. And I think that's what Yagdil Torah represented to me and to all of my chaverim.
Learning in Yagdil for 3 years single, and then coming back at 1 year of kol for my first year of marriage, was definitely from the most important parts of my life. To be able to go ahead and learn from how to learn from a hashkafa point of views, but more just how to go ahead and utilize the things you learn in yeshiva to actually make it practical, to bring it to real life.
The Chashva and Hala created a ruach of riska deraisa, of a geschmack and learning in the Beis Medrash always. There was so much to gain from the being in proximity of such gedolei Torah and just seeing how they acted.
The Rosh Yeshiva is not just there to push one little agenda point, but he's there for the Bachrim. He connects with the Bachrim. He cares about the Bachrim. He cares about the younger line. This is his life, and he cares deeply and passionately about every single person in the walls of the yeshiva.
Bachrim were Rabbi Avram's life. The Bachrim were the Rabbi Avram's family, and he made sure that we actually felt that way and actually took care of us from beginning to end. There was nothing that we lacked, nothing that we missed. The only thing we had to do was focus on learning and focus on our shtagim.
Another thing which I think really lends to the ruach that we had in yeshiva was the achdos.
The chaverschaft, the closeness amongst the Bachrim, and which was really led by the Rosh Yeshiva, created a certain warmth and created a very unique place where I felt I was part of something very special.
My son Yochanan has been learning in the yeshiva since Pesach of last year, of Tafshin Ayin Daled, and he loves it there.
I met Rabbi Yeshua Hager for the first time not long ago, and the Ben Torah that comes out is absolutely delightful. As a person who I saw has such a geschmack in Ruchnius, in Torah, when he came to Yerushalayim, he sat in a shir, something that very rare for Baal Batan to be able to do and hold on, because he's obviously someone whose mind is enjoying and constantly living and learning.
Recently, I had the opportunity of visiting my son in Eretz Yisrael, and I had the opportunity to be in the yeshiva, spend some time in the yeshiva, where I was able to learn and prepare for the shir. I am probably one of the few parents that actually attended a shir both from Rav Shlomo Katz and from Rav Aryeh Bernstein Shlita.
My father's real Torah, he's Machshav Torah. He comes home every night, he goes straight to learn for a few hours after he comes home from work.
I've told Rabbi Yeshua many times that anyone who sees the simcha that he has when he comes to learn at night in the Beis Medrash with a big smile on his face, and the simcha that he has about being a Yid and keeping Torah mitzvahs, that is something which had a tremendous impact on his children.
I can only speak about one of the Hager children, and that's Yochanan, who is obviously a pride and joy to his family. By us, he's not only a Mitzuyan Gadol, he's the Gabbai in Yeshiva, he's a person who's there from morning till night, barely taking off time to eat, and his asmada and his tztainus in learning is an example for everybody.
Yagdil is a unique yeshiva, especially for the older Bachrim, that they provide all the services that a Bachur would need so that the Bachur can concentrate and focus on their learning. The fact that they have a dining room with prepared food and a dormitory in the same building as the Beis Medrash gives every Bachur the opportunity to focus solely on their learning without distractions. Tremendous appreciation for the yeshiva. The yeshiva has really been a place that my son is able to grow in learning and feel incredibly comfortable to achieve his goals.
I want to be mevarich the Hager family. They should be zeichet to continue to bring up such wonderful children and have a lifetime of nachas from them all.
My father was very good friends, still is very good friends with the Rosh Yeshiva, and they had suggested that I come here to Yeshiva. I came here not knowing what kind of place it was like. I didn't do any research, and it's really Bashert how it ended up being a perfect fit for me. A lot of guys didn't just come here for a year and leave. They were there because they were doing so well in this yeshiva, they didn't want to leave until the last possible moment.
Naftali is one of the longest reigning Talmidim in yeshiva. He's spanning probably over the last 12, 13 years. Mention Naftali Singer's name to anybody in Yagdil Torah and you immediately will bring a smile to his face. Naftali is a person who is just shining and ligging in learning and radiating Gishmak in Torah and Avodah.
It's always a fight by Chavrus, who's going to learn with Naftali. You take him, you're not delaying him for years, Naftali. Always you're going to ask a guy, who's your Chavrusa? I have Naftali for second Seder, I have Naftali first Seder, I have Naftali night Seder. It's always people, everybody will be jealous. Oh, you got Naftali. Oh, Givaldik, so you're going to have a great man.
I once heard from a Shlomo Volba b'Shem Rabbi Rucham, the real measure of yeshiva is how much the yeshiva is zeichet to have Talmidim become an ish acher. They can change and become a totally different person than they were. Naftali is a person who has used what the yeshiva has out to the nth degree to become an ish acher. From Zman to Zman, Naftali is steiging in a way that you can't see the same Naftali singer that was there a few years ago is there now.
I know parents of Bacham that have told me that themselves, that they come home Bein Hazmanim and they're also learning Bein Hazmanim. They don't know what I did to them, and I said, I don't know either. I didn't do anything. I just sat and I learned with them.
When he walks into Beis Medrash, his life, he breathes into the very walls. Seder is such a different Seder when Naftali is there. His Geschmackheit in learning, how his Rischot Araisa, how Torah is real by him. It's a true thing that he has to come out with Pshat, and if he doesn't come out with Pshat, the world is just going to come to an end.
It would be impossible to speak about Naftali without taking a few moments to talk about the wonderful family that he was brought up in. I know the singers since they're married, but I know Reb Heshi Taka for a little over 40 years. We were together in the Yeshivas Golzgunstein's Shir in Long Beach together, and Heshi was involved in every single stage of Yagdil Torah from before its inception until today. Involved not only b'leiv, b'nefesh, b'mesiras nefesh, and he daigas about the yeshiva and is constantly working to do whatever could be done for the betterment of the yeshiva.
I wanted to say, if you learn Rashi, yeah, it's kind of amazing that it's Shver of Shimon Amli. That part.
I'd like to be Messiah with a bracha that Naftali and his Bnei Bayis should continue to be Nis'ala in Torah, Avodah, Yiras Shamayim, and that the families, the Singer family and the Ingber family, I want to wish them they should all be zeichet to have a lifetime of nachas from Naftali and from his mishpacha.
My good friend Meir Goldberg, who was in yeshiva, went to yeshiva Pesach Zman, had told me, he says, you got to come here. Come to Yagdil Torah. You'll like it. This is for you. And trusting Meir, I came to Yagdil Torah. And That changed my life. Prior to him, in this case, prior to him paying the knas, he's parted from the knas.
Every yeshiva needs an ingredient in Talmidim called ne'emanus, loyalty. And Elimelech is such a person, and he has been a loyal Talmid from day one until today.
That kayach and the Masera that he got from his Rebbeim in Yagdil Torah, he was able to transfer that and give that over to all types of Jews in Arizona, whether they be Jews on campus or Jews in the community.
The derech hachayim, the simchas hachayim, the simcha in Torah that I received, that I saw in Yeshivas Yagdil Torah, is something that became very deep inside of me. It's something I've taken with me. And living here in Arizona, where it's a little different from Lakewood, just a bit, a little different from Brooklyn or Yerushalayim, I look back at those years and I constantly get chizuk and encouragement from those experiences.
Having somebody like Rabbi Adler in the Phoenix and Scottsdale community is such a value to us, from his Torah teaching to his avodas hatfilah to his friendship, and that's not even to mention his music and the way he's lifted so many people up at the most important moments of their lives.
I can say certainly that I would not be where I am now in many ways, in learning, in life approaches, and in overall outlook and certain sensitivities that Rabbi Adler has imparted, and I'm tremendously grateful for that.
Some people get more headlines, but behind the scenes there are people who enrich your life in a very meaningful way. And for me personally, Rabbi Elimelech Adler is like maybe first in line in that way.
That's Rabbi Adler. He gets everything done with a smile and in a way that whatever he's doing, he makes you feel like it's all about you, and you never know how much he's put into it.
For 6 years I worked with Rabbi Brumer at Jewish Arizonans on campus, and I was able to learn with many college students, one-on-one classes, have them over for Shabbos in my house, encourage them to go to Eretz Yisrael, and there are Talmidim today that are learning in yeshivas. They're having tremendous nachas from.
I want to be mevarech both the Adler family and the Weinberg family. They should continue to see nachas at Bias Goel Tzedek from Elimelech and from the ganze Mishpacha.
According to what he says, that we need a woman.
Bye.